I'm just afraid of the loudness. It's too loud. Okay. Alrighty. How was your break? Long and stretchy. Bismillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. Thumma amma ba'd. What was the last thing we talked about? Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim. Let's move further. I'm going to give you a silly example from my career. Where did I used to do? What did I used to teach? What did I tell you? Elementary school? You know, in the school that I started working at, I was the youngest teacher. All the other teachers were aunties, and they were a lot older than me. And they were very tough with the kids. They walked in, and the children, they put the fear of God in them. Okay? Now, I'm kind of a goofy person, so when I got my job as a teacher, I went in the first day of class, and I'm telling jokes, and I'm showing them like crazy tricks, like I'm sticking things in one ear and pulling them out of the other ear, and like, I'm doing all kinds of silly things, and telling them stories and all this stuff. The first day of class, I still remember, when I was leaving class, everybody was like, no, don't go. And that's not because they loved me, because the auntie was coming, that's the more the reason, but still, they like really enjoyed being in my class because I was joking around with them a lot, right? And I was like, why are these teachers so uptight? Why do they make it so hard for these kids to have a good time in class? You know, why can't they just be friends with them? And all the other experienced teachers, they said, so what'd you do in class today? So I said, we had so much fun. We laughed, we played, did you teach anything? No, we can do that a little later. I want to, be friends with them first. And they all said, you'll find out. They just kind of that evil laugh, and I was like, yeah, no, it's never going to happen. So a couple of days go by, I'll go into the class, and I'm starting to teach the class, and nobody wants to sit down in their chair. Tell us a story, do that thing with your ear. And they're fighting with each other, and one guy's like taking the other guy's pencil, and they're drawing things, and I still remember one kid was on the back wall, writing his name. And he was looking straight at me. And the friend next to him said, hey, I think he sees you. And he said to him, yeah, but he's a nice guy. And he kept going. Then I realized something. When you only show love and mercy and love and mercy and love and mercy, then is it possible that people take advantage of that? Okay. I'll give you a little bit of another example. This is a kind of a silly example, but I think it'll get the point across. Imagine that there's another master and a slave. The master says, look, you're my slave, but I don't want you to do all kinds of work. I have very little requirements. All I want you to do is, here's a fence. It's not even a fence, it's just a line with chalk. Just don't go on the other side of it. Just stay on the inside, don't go on the outside. Don't step on the outside. Inside this line, do whatever you want. Did you find your... He made it, okay. Inside this line, do whatever you want. Just don't step outside this line, that's all I'm asking. So the slave is basically free, but inside a circle. You understand? It's a pretty wide circle. It's like a few acres. Okay, so he could do whatever he wants. So one day he's going, and the slave is kind of close to the line, and he slips. And he falls on the other side. And the master is watching. He's sitting on a chair on the porch. He's watching. Where does the slave look immediately when he falls on the other side? He checks if the boss was watching, if the master was watching. And the master's still sitting on the chair. No problem. The master didn't say anything. He just sat there. So the slave got up and dusted himself off and went back inside. The next day, the slave kind of like, he was near the fence and he pretended to fall. And he looked again, and the master's still sitting in his chair. He didn't say anything. The next day, he stopped pretending. He just kind of put one foot on the line and checked. And the master said nothing. Pretty soon he's walking, one foot on the outside, one foot on the inside. A few months go by and he spends most of the time on the outside. And every once in a while he checks in with the master. Hey, how you doing? And the master's like, no problem, living a happy life. Then one day the master calls him. Hey, come here. Okay, he comes there, he goes, remember when we first met? I told you don't cross that line. He goes, yeah, you told me, I remember that. He goes, yeah, well, you started crossing it. You did it by mistake once, but then you started doing it pretending to make a mistake, but you were doing it on purpose. And then you started doing it more and more, and then you started spending most of your time on the other side of the line. And I've been keeping record. I mean, I didn't say anything to you, but I've been keeping record. And here's the record. You crossed the line 5,680 times. And I'm going to whip you for each of those today. You know what that is? That is a master saying, you took advantage of my mercy, and you forgot that I have a right to judge you. I will show you mercy so long as you don't try to take advantage of me. You don't try to make a joke out of my guidance. But I'm not really talking about a master and a lion in the circle, in the lawn. I'm not talking about that, am I? I'm talking about us and Allah. So if you only have a Rahman ar-Rahim, then people will take advantage. And so Allah says, not just Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, He puts us back in check. He says, Maliki Yawmiddin. He's the master of the day of judgment. Now this is the easy translation, master of the day of judgment. I'll talk to you a little bit about it because there's so much more we have to cover tonight.